So, welcome. This is session 2 of 4. We are playing Band of Blades. This is a Forged in the Dark game, which means it draws the basic mechanics from Blades in the Dark, which is one of the new hotnesses over the last couple of years. This is a game in the vein of the Black Company novels by Glenn Cook, and any of the other sort of low magic fantasy novels that have been out. The Deed of Paxnarian, it occurs to me as another one. And there's a lot of that kind of military fantasy. And this one has a very structured set of mechanics. We have missions, and then we have a campaign phase. Our players have a specialist character, but then they also have a rookie in case that character gets killed. And then they also have a command role, which is sort of separate from their character, that is used to make decisions and choices about how the company, the Legion, moves along. The basic gist of this, if you're coming in, is that the Legion has been present at essentially the great battle against the force of evil and the Cinder King, in which the forces of good have failed. And now the Legion and others are falling back. They're returning to the Western Front, and then they're going to try and push back. They're hoping to stem the tide of the undead, but also keep the Legion intact. And so the full campaign is about the travels along back for the Legion over the course of that. Now, if you're wondering, this is part of the Gauntlet Hangouts. You can find out more about the Gauntlet Hangouts and online gaming community at gauntlet-rpg.com. And you may want to see what kind of games we have there. We do a lot of games. We have 100 plus. I've got a t-shirt on right there for it. So there's my t-shirt for this. And we have coming up in October, Gauntlet Con is going to be an online gaming convention where a lot of the GMs that run, weekly games are going to be putting on things, and we're going to have special events and panels and stuff. So if you've watched this and you're curious about that, keep an eye out on gauntlet-rpg.com to see if maybe you want to come and play games with us. And if you like these kinds of videos, I sometimes watch my own videos. I sometimes watch other people's videos. It's kind of neat. If you're watching this, you can subscribe to the channel because I do a lot of this kind of thing. So with that all being said, what I'd like to have is each of our players give us the 30-second pitch on who their specialist is. And then we're going to kind of roll from that back into the camp, returning from the mission, kind of getting the decompression from that. The starting mission book has some details that we're going to throw out from that. But let's start. I'm going to work my right to left. So Vincent, who is your specialist character?
Yeah, so I'm playing the medic, Chevalier Tyrius. He is an older doctor, and since joining the Legion has been something of a triage specialist. So identifying who is capable and worthy of being saved, and trying to make things as quick and painless as possible for those that aren't.
And what do they look like?
Tyrius, he's very gaunt, tall and thin, with full gray hair, and a serious expression and very tired looking eyes.
Okay. Thank you. So that's our medic. And next we have, is it Nate?
That's right. Let's see. Nachinova Zinyati is our officer. She goes by Nate. She is very much a lead from the front, very responsible for her people, trying to get them out. Lost a rookie in the last session, and that rookie's name was Samantha, and that was a very traumatic event. She is from I think it's the mountain people, so she's very, she has on a very utilitarian kind of garment, robe kind of thing, and has long braids. I think that's about it.
Okay. And then our scout, Red.
Yes, Red. He's a Panyar from the deep forests. These are folk who are connected with large beasts and the moon goddess and forest goddess. He's bald, wiry, cat-like eyes, wears animal pelts, and he's got a bit of a shady past. It's a little bit of a furtive look to him sometimes, but most of the time he's focused on the job of working as a scout.
And a smaller person, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And luckily didn't get the full effect of the zombie exploding on you last time you were rescued from that.
He did get a bit of corruption on his face from the splash.
But not too much. That corruption will build up. And when you hit the top of the track of that, that's when you actually get a blight level. So you've got still some room to go there. And then finally, we have Cheru. Cheru, how do you want to? How am I saying that?
I say Cheru.
Okay.
I understand why you would go with Cheru. Cheru is Barton, so it's actually, I think I misunderstood that kind of cultural background. Bartons are a very old society. They're very cultured. They have a lot of fine artistry and they place a huge emphasis on honor. So for Cheru, she's a bit of an outlier, I guess, since so she's very big, the way that Bartons all are, very tall, and even tall for a Barton. So I think she kind of dwarfs. I mean, no, everyone is dwarfed by her in comparison, especially our scout. She's pretty chill normally. I think she enjoys fighting, maybe. Just from last session, she seems to enjoy using her full prowess, which really only comes out in combat. It doesn't show up very often, but it's there.
And a defender. I mean, one of the things we saw last time is that Cheru is strongly focused on protecting the group.
Yeah, she values her team a lot, or her legion. So everyone else's safety is very important to her.
Awesome. So that gives us our characters, and we return back. And what we would do at I'm going to work through the actual steps in the order that they have them. From the mission at this point, we would go through the mission rewards, and what we've got are the following rewards. One is this mission actually helps morale. So it will increase your morale to 8 for the moment. Oops, and then I'm going to erase that. It relieves some of the pressure that the group has on them, that the Legion has on them, so it reduces pressure down to 0. And it also offsets the time pressure that you're working under. The time passage. There's a track there for summer, for essentially the passing of time, so you've got a sort of a -1 forward on that time. There's going to be a time passing in a minute, and they'll kind of negate out. These are resources that the different roles use or manage or keep track of right now. So right now, the Legion has managed to fall back. There's a little bit better sense that the Legion is not going to be immediately crushed. That helps with morale. You cut the enemy off, so that's giving you room to operate in. We didn't fail the mission, so there are no penalties because we just did one mission. What's going to happen as we go along is you are going to fail missions. because there's going to be one mission that you play out, and one mission that gets resolved by a kind of engagement roll, and you may in fact have, depending on the situation, you may have 3 missions, and you're not going to have enough people to do 3 missions, in which case you automatically fail the third. You get to choose which ones you want to send people on and which ones you fail, but that is the pressure that is affecting you. Now, as you mentioned, Nate, you did lose a rookie, so morale will drop by 1. You don't have enough people for even a loss of 1 person to, I mean, it is keenly felt here in the aftermath of this. So when the group of you come back to camp, how do you imagine that in this retreat, how do you imagine that the Legion is what does the camp look like? Vincent, when you come back, are they getting it organized? Is it still in chaos? How do you imagine when your team returns back? What do things look like?
Yeah, I think it still is in the state of chaos. I think the expectation when we were sent off on this mission is that we would not be coming back, just due to how much of a disaster our initial battles were. So the fact that they're seeing us return, not immediately followed by the hordes of the undead, suddenly everybody who had bags on their backs, starts to like set them down. They're trying to figure out if maybe we're good to be here for another night, or if in another hour or so they'll have to grab everything again and start running.
So they're just starting to get set up, just starting to get settled in. You're the officer, Nate. So who do you imagine that you go and report to? If you're talking, I can't hear you.
Thank you. I imagine that there's like a number of campfires, and as we get closer and closer to camp, they become more and more numerous, and there's probably a tent in the center. All the rest of them are kind of lean-tos and small little campfires where a group of like 6 or 8 might be. And I think that that's where we would normally set up camp, but I go directly into the center tent. And I think that there isn't, there's one person who is above my rank, but we've been decimated so far. And most of the other people who are of my rank or lower are actually out on missions. They've already been sent out. So I think I go in there to talk to them and tell them this is what happened.
Okay. And certainly that makes sense. Keep in mind that there are you 4, and then there's one other specialist currently in the Legion. And the rest are soldiers and rookies, and then of course the command structure. So you go and report in, and they'll send word to the different squads to tell them what has gone on. Let me ask you, Red, what is the procedure when you come back? I mean, you've been hit by some of this gook, this effluvium, however you want to call that. What is the procedure for cleaning that off or decontaminating, do you think? Is it all folklore, or is there an organized approach?
There's probably a healer or someone here that does that. But Red is in a quandary because Red has been collecting pointing out and collecting names of people who have corruption to the what's that sort of deity type thing. What was that called?
The Chosen?
Yeah, sorry, the Chosen. Yeah, he's been reporting people. I don't know if he's been doing that furtively or if he's kind of branded as sort of as a snitch. I don't know, but I think he would be in a very difficult position right now because he's never been contaminated before.
So what is he going to try and hide it?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you kind of get back to your tent? What do we see on screen? How are you how do we know that you're trying to conceal this?
Yeah, every time he comes back from a mission, he reports to the Chosen, and this time he doesn't.
Okay.
And so he goes back to his own tent, I guess, or shared space with the rest of the soldiers, and just pulls his hood over his head, and maybe he's even crying. Because always been this almost sort of a predatory figure in his own mind, but now he's vulnerable, just like everyone else.
Yeah. Nice. Cheru, you tower over everyone else here. So how do you think how do other soldiers treat you? Are you the big sister? Are you a figure that makes people nervous? What is the reaction of people when they see you, a singular figure amongst the Legion Return?
Oh, I think there's at least one person that's like, hey, you're still alive. And then we go for like props. And then I'm like, owe me a beer. But then there are also other people that like see me and then they're like, just like, they try not to make it obvious, but they're like, it's like, there's that little bit of like, oh, that's a big person.
Yeah. Have you thrown your weight around at all,
Yeah.
or are they just nervous about you?
I think there's at least like one fight that like broke up within like the ranks, that like people will tell new recruits when we still used to have them.
Yep.
Yeah, where it was like we were all laughing and then drinking, and then someone said something, and I suddenly just like jumped up and like started pummeling them. And like within the story, no one can figure out like what it was that set me off. So it's kind of like,
yeah. So they don't know. No one knows. No one knows what the trigger was. No one is saying. It's still, they're probably whispers about what it could have been, and that's probably used to be used to taunt the newcomers a little bit.
Yeah, but generally, I'm cool.
As you all are moving around, kind of carrying out your duties, you will kind of hear from the eastern end of the camp a set of murmuring and then noise. And as you moved out to look, you will see coming out of the wood line your chosen, Alana, who kind of vanished in the chaos of things. And you see she's covered in wounds. She's clearly been in a battle. But you will also see that she has clutched in her hand a kind of like a hood that's been cut and tied at the bottom. And you can see this weird twisted head in there. And it's got this like enormous like hook hand that's been kind of run through the eye sockets of it. And you will recognize it as one of the lieutenants of Blighter, an infamous figure known as Red Hook. And you can see as she comes along, and as she's walking, like when her blood drips onto the skin of this head, that flesh actually sizzles, like it burns from her blood. And Vincent, what do you think? How do the troops react to this?
I think the troops, they're relieved that she's returned. I think initially there's some rush of those that have a bit more medical experience when they see her wounds, but the fact that she's walking with such confidence makes them step back. Like,
okay,
were she a normal person, they would be trying to relieve her immediately, but they feel like, this is almost a sign of divinity out of her.
Sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. And certainly you probably feel as she moves past that, she definitely has the touch of the gods on her as she moves along there. Stephen, how do you think how do you deal with a head like this? What is the procedure for this? Is it alchemical? Is it just burning? Is it a ceremony? How is that dealt with?
I think that we each have our own little thing that we say about it, but basically, you see a couple of the guards kind of cross themselves and kind of spit on the ground. But the chosen, they're the people in charge of this,
Okay.
and they come. I think she comes forward, and they have a. It's sort of like a rum barrel, and inside is some kind of caustic liquid that they put this inside of, and then nail the lid shut.
Okay.
And there's been several things like this that have been done.
Yeah. So she'll drop it in this liquid. It goes in with a kind of a wet squelch, and maybe there's some movement from the head as it sinks below, and then they quickly nail it up. And then the chosen Alana will kind of go off to the area that is marked for her, and essentially she goes. That she will heal these wounds, but she goes off to meditate. Then at that point,
If you don't mind, as soon as she kind of walks in, we see all the soldiers kind of turn and look at her, and that's whenever I start a cheer.
Okay.
To try and get everyone's attention. Yeah.
So, do you think that the cheer takes? I mean, morale went up by one, down a little because you lost someone. Do people cheer at these kinds of things, or do you think the recent battle still lies heavy?
I think that there's a few of us who realize that this is a good victory. This is a little victory that we can have, and it's good to celebrate this rather than focus on the defeats that we've been through. So I think it's kind of a half-hearted cheer that erupts.
I like that. Once Alana is in and settled, they will take some time, and eventually one of the seniors, like the commander, the marshal, they will bring you in to give the debriefing, and the officer gives their debriefing, and then the marshal or the commander will turn to you, Red, and kind of eyes look at you. You've been quiet, Red. Is there anything else you noted as a scout?
I have the hood over my head. I draw it back slightly, but the one side of my face that's been corrupted, that part of the hood is kind of keeping that covered. Nothing unusual to report, sir. Everything is perfectly fine. Is there anything you need from me? I'm gonna get some rest.
All right. I just wanted to get the debrief on that. And I love, by the way, I love the fact, say, you don't actually get a blight mark until you've built up a bunch of corruption, but I love the idea that you're kind of Dr. Dooming it up, like you got a little bit of mark and now you're terrified that everyone can see it, right?
Yeah. Well, I've seen what happens later, so I'm prepared.
One of the people will stop you, Cheru, and will say, I just want to check with you. Nate said that one of the rookies went in the water. Is that what happened?
What's that for me?
Yeah, Cheru. I just want to get a second opinion. I always like to check when we lose someone.
Yeah.
Did one of the rookies just go over?
I don't remember. There's a lot happening.
Okay.
She went down bravely, though.
All right. What do you think of Nate? She handle it?
Seems fine.
Okay. And you will be able to all kind of get some rest. feverish or solid, drunken or otherwise, you'll be able to rest and relax. So we're going to kind of pull out from that to the mechanical side of things. And I want to look at the different roles here. And I want to start, I think, actually with the quartermaster. Now, who is playing the quartermaster role?
I am.
Okay. So one of the things that I'll want you to take a look at here is I'm going to walk through each of these roles here, and I apologize for the rulesy bits that we get at this point. But if you pull up the little handout I've put there for the quartermaster in roll 20, you can see that you get to pick some traits to describe the quartermaster, and you'll give them a name. You've got some choices there, and I kind of want to walk through that. You're going to start with 2 supply, and supply is a resource that you can spend to do things like get extra campaign actions. And the Legion can start with either an alchemist or a mercy. So either a medic or someone who can create essentially what the alchemist can do is, scientists are able to transmute materials. They can make alchemicals and cure mystic diseases. They can be used to acquire particular assets. So which do you think the company has?
So I think we have an alchemist.
Okay.
I think in general we prize. I think this alchemist kind of has almost a prized, comfy position because we prize their ability to destroy or help create materials that will help destroy the undead. So I think maybe that barrel was something of their concoction.
That makes sense.
And then there's a black powder kind of thing that we have as well.
Yeah. So right now you start with 0 corruption on your alchemist. That can change.
Okay.
So you're going to have some material, and you're going to have some food. So I unfortunately am going to direct you to another handout here.
Okay.
This is the worst thing. There's a little table there in the material handout. You're going to get to make 5 picks of things that you have. Each one of those question marks is a pick. So you could pick an additional food stores, and you would have 3 uses of that food. Or horses, and you had 3 uses of those horses. Or you could have supply cards. You could pick 1 supply card or 2 supply cards or 3 supply cards. But those are individual picks. Now, if you look in the Band of Blades beta PDF, there is some more details on what those mean under the Quartermaster book. And you don't have to pick that right now, but I want you to take a look and think about what you would want to have for the camp.
And you said how many boxes?
You're going to get 5 boxes.
Okay. 1 food box. According to the Quartermaster sheet, it's 1 food box and 5 additional.
Yep. I'm considering that you've already got 1 in addition to with the 3 picks in addition to what we've got on this chart here.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. And then what you'll do is you're going to be able to do campaign actions, and we'll talk about what those are in a bit when we kind of come back to that. And you're going to manage equipment and stuff. So that's the goofy bit there. So the Quartermaster is going to be thinking about those things. Then the next thing that is going to have to make some choices is the Spy Master. And who is playing the Spy Master?
I'm playing the Spy Master.
Okay. So the Spy Master again, if you pull up that handout, you'll figure out the traits and figure out a name for the spy master.
Mhm.
And then you're going to pick 2 starting spies.
Okay. Now, I don't see the name for the spy master.
Oh, you would come up with the name for it.
Oh, just come up. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What you've got is at the bottom, there are some predefined spies.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to pick 2 of them. And one of them is you're going to make trained, which means when they do their spying action, they roll 2 dice and take the highest rather than just 1 die.
Okay.
Okay. They're a master spy. The first spy on the list, Antoinette, actually, her special ability is that she starts as a master spy.
Yeah. So what would happen if she were trained? Would that change anything?
She can't be. She would just be a master spy. So you would make the other spy that you take a master spy then as well.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
And basically, you've got some quick short-term assignments: recovering, interrogating, blackmailing, and help, and that's described under the Spy Master playbook. And then the longer-term assignments are ones that we set up a clock.
Mm-hmm.
You send a spy to do that, and we roll to see how well they carry that out.
Okay. Yes.
So I just wanted to point you to that so you can kind of figure that out. And once I've gone through everybody with their roles, I'll come back and ask everybody about names and traits and things. But again, a lot of this stuff we can just kind of decide on the fly. What you are going to do when we come around to the actions is you are going to be able to, this campaign, dispatch spies to do things. So you can be able to send them out right away. And then the next one I want to look at is, let's go, since I'm kind of doing reverse alphabetical, go to the marshal.
Okay.
Okay. So again, the marshal is going to, you're going to set a name for it and you just figure out traits. You can see that we started the morale at 7. There are some bits here that we're not particularly going to worry about because we're not long-term campaign. We're not at the table. We've already got some rookies named. If we, you're the person who is, if we need to fill in new names for people, so for the dead book later, you get to come up with those names. I do want to ask you, you have 4 specialists right now.
Mm-hmm.
The only one that's left off is a sniper. So the Legion starts out with a 5th specialist. Is it another one of the roles that already exist, or do you think it's the sniper for that?
I think it is going to be a sniper.
Okay. So I'll have you figure out that sniper's name.
Okay.
So what you'll be doing is, as you can see, your duties are there that you'll track morale. We're not going to have to worry about tracking the squads of specialists that much. But you're the person who tells, says where morale's at, because that can limit other people's actions.
Okay.
And then when a mission is chosen, you're going to say who is in charge. If there's an officer, they're in charge. If there's no officer, you assign the specialist that's in charge. And you also decide who goes on which missions.
Okay. And is that's dependent on the type of mission?
Yeah. So what will happen is when we generate the missions, I'll say, this mission will take a squad and like 2 specialists. That's the usual thing. And so you'll choose who goes. Most missions have some requirements, like you want to send these kinds of people to that mission.
Yeah, I see this on my second page.
Yeah. So that's the basics on that. And then finally, last but not least, there is the commander. So Agatha, you are the commander.
Yes.
And I'm gonna let me get this assigned 2 sides. So right now at the start, we would have set the summer at 3 ticks, but because it's a success, we set it back to 2. So hopefully we'll update there. So again, you're going to decide on the commander's traits and their name. You are going to start when we go back to the other page. There's a little on the map. It'll show the Western Front. You're the person who, when we decide to move from location to location, you decide where to go and when we do that.
Okay.
And then
is there another page? Like, is there like in the PDF, like just a page with the map as well that I could just kind of refer to?
Absolutely. If you go to in the folder, the band of the Bob Beta color, it's the first PDF.
Yeah.
And the commander is page, this is the commander. So this is the commander is page 19. Okay. And it has all the details there. One of the things you're going to get to do is you start out with 0 intel. That's a resource that you can get more of, and you can use that to ask questions. There's a list of questions there.
Okay.
And then page 20 shows you the map.
Okay.
And
cool.
the locations.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah, but we'll stop when we go to do that to make the mission choices. I'll stop and we'll walk through that process. What's going to happen is, for this first mission phase, this first campaign phase that we do here, rather, you're going to be starting at the Western Front. There are going to be 2 missions that your group has to undertake, and I will talk about what those involve. It's only once we kind of move to another area that we start looking at some of the choices and costs and things. But that is the basics of that. The other thing is that, for when you're at the Western Front, there are 2 kinds of missions that you can focus on. You can either focus on an assault mission or a scout mission. And I will tell you what's available right now, which right now is the scout and assault. You'll have both of those missions that you'll get to perform, but you'll get to choose which one is primary and which one is secondary. And when we come to that, I'll give you a little more detail about what the mission looks like and what's at risk and so on. So here's the thing. This is all these kinds of gears. This makes Blades in the Dark look like a cinch. But they're going in different directions, which is what I find interesting. So let me swing back to our quartermaster. So tell me about the quartermaster.
Yeah, the quartermaster's name is Thrasso. The heritage that I chose is Panyar, which I believe is the Forced.
Okay.
He is calculating and clever and resourceful and scarred and grizzled. I think that he basically just got wounded from this past, from this assault. So that's the scar. Like maybe he's missing a limb or something like that.
Awesome. So maybe a younger quartermaster than we might expect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But has seen some hard time in his young life.
Right now, we don't have to worry about the supply material stuff. We can figure out about that later on because it's not going to affect right now. Okay. But you'll get to pick your stores and black shots and things like that. On the quartermaster book, it also talks about what those do. So as we're playing along, if you go, oh, I want to have this, that we have it, you can mark that on the fly if you want to. I've got no problem with that.
So I see some interaction on mine with the commander about advancing the Legion. So whenever the commander advances the Legion, we lose supply that we can't take with us.
Right.
And what's that? Is advancing the Legion one of the campaign moves? Campaign
So
actions?
advancing the Legion is actually a choice, and the choice is: do we move to the next location, or do we stay here? So that is sort of how that decision is made about falling back, because in the long game you're trying to get back to sort of the far tower. What you've got as campaign actions is about rest, giving legionnaires their liberty, acquiring assets, recruiting, or doing other long-term projects. And those are listed on that first page of the quartermaster sheet. But advance is just a choice.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So one of the things I'm going to come back to you and I'm going to ask is, you're going to get a campaign action. Right now your morale is 7. So you're going to get to pick one of those quartermaster campaign actions. So I'd like you to take a look at those and see if any of those are interesting to you, or we can kind of work out, what might be useful at this point. Okay.
Yeah. So I haven't looked at them yet.
Sure.
You want me to look at them now? And
yeah. I'm going to go through each other person, and then I'll come back and check in with you.
Okay.
Okay. So our spy master.
Yes.
So
I have one quick thing for
Sure.
Nate. I don't know if this helps with your decision or not. One of my abilities is Scrounge, which lets me get 2 supply without rolling. I think 2 supply, or no, 1 supply to every member of the group without rolling dice.
And that's one of your roles or your playbook?
Playbook.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that translates over to, like, we could take that and put that over to our roles. I'm not sure.
Yeah, let me take a look at what that does here real quick.
So the only concern about that is that we lose it if we move, and I think we want to move because we want to get away from here.
Right. You won't be moving. You won't be moving now because you only just arrived. So you won't be advancing after
if we have guns, would those bear the extra supply even if we move?
Yes. Yeah. The quartermaster can pick as one of their picks carts, and you can carry up to 6 food per food store with supply carts.
Okay.
You can keep a max of 2 supply plus 2 additional supply per supply cart.
Okay. Yeah. Food for thought, so to speak.
So to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your spy master. What's your spy master's name?
Spy master's name's Silvak. He's rangy, red-haired with red eyes, wears a cloak and swathing bands. When his clothing is removed, his back and arms are covered in tattoos of the broken chosen. He smokes and rarely speaks to anyone except when he's taking instruction.
So, like, was in the service of one of the chosen that got broken, you think?
Yes, for sure. But he probably also venerated other chosen. So as a reminder of their defeat, he's got that tattooed on his body. Each time a chosen was broken, he would have that added to him.
Nice. Who do you want as your 2 spies?
I'm thinking Antoinette and Crimson Vexing Gale.
Okay. So that will give you then 2 masters, right?
Yeah, I think, well, one of them is a master by default, but the other one you said you could put trained, right?
You actually make another one.
Trained.
Make another one as a master.
Yeah, so we got 2 masters then.
Okay. Let me quickly grab and rearrange some things
One of them cannot be wounded.
Yeah, Crimson Vexing Gale can't be wounded, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
Copy. I'm going to move.
And where did you want me to put this info? Did you want me to?
Well, what I'm doing is I'm just going to kind of put them. I'm going to, like, let me come down to where they are at the bottom. this handout, and I was going to make everything else italics. I put the two you chose in the handout at the top.
I'm looking at
do you see the handout that I've got in the Roll 20?
Yeah, I'm looking at Spy Master. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
So I kind of moved them around. So you've got Antoinette and Crimson. So what is it that you would like to do?
So I can do a simple assignment and a long-term assignment?
So what you can do is spies on simple enough assignments can't undertake long terms. So you can do one. Each one can do one or the other.
Mm-hmm. Do we really have a need for the simple assignments right now?
I don't think so quite yet.
Yeah, it sounds like this is sort of a reaction to the fiction, and we don't really have anything there yet.
Right.
Unless I'm wrong.
Do you want to do one of the long-term projects?
Yeah, I was thinking if Nate is going to make a decision about whether to do the spy mission as a supporting and then the assault as like the big thing, or vice versa, right?
Actually, I will be making that choice.
Oh, you're making the decision. Yeah. Okay, so what I could do, maybe if this is helpful, is do an augment mission or do lay a trap if we're doing an assault, one of those two. So augment mission would give, well, lay a trap would be for the assault. So that would give, like, I guess it would give us something for the laying a trap.
Mm-hmm. So the augment mission kind of increases the potential rewards for a mission. Mm-hmm. Then the lay trap allows you to set the next assault mission to include a specific lieutenant mm-hmm. of one of the broken or an infamous of one of the broken.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty serious thing to fight.
Sure. So maybe that first one, start off with something we can handle.
Okay.
A little bit easier.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make I'm going to put a little clock here. And so what I need you to do then is I need you to roll 2d6 for Antoinette first.
Okay. Just roll in the chat.
Yeah. And we'll just take the highest of the two.
Oh, got a 6 on one of them.
Okay. On a 6, we've got 3 ticks towards the project.
Nice.
So we're along on that. And then Crimson can then also go.
Same thing, just roll again.
Same thing, because they're both masters. They both roll 2d6 for this.
Another double 6.
Oh, wow, that's a crit. Okay, so that's 5 ticks. So yeah, you finished that project.
Ooh, nice.
Which means that I'm going to add on to whichever mission our commander chooses is going to have additional rewards. Essentially, is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to take the potential penalties down. Okay.
Okay. Sure.
So that's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. So that gives us the Master Spy. So let's see. I think our next step is actually to go to the commander. And what I'm going to do is tell you about the 2 missions there. Mm-hmm. We have that I've generated. I'm going to look at the little random mission thing, and I'm going to add another reward on to whichever one you want to go to.
Okay. Sorry. Before that.
Sure.
So for the mission that we just finished,
mm-hmm.
do I get an intel from that or no?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, because it says so under the track and spend intel under the commander section, it says intel comes from mission rewards. So does that mean that it has to have been specified specifically for that mission for me to get that?
It does. And let me look back at the rewards for this one. This one offered morale, time, and reduced pressure, so it didn't have intel as a reward.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay. So that's that. And I want to check thing. So there are two possible missions that you have here in the area. One is an assault, and one is a scouting mission. I rolled these before we started, so I've kind of put them together. Normally, we would have the campaign thing at the end of the session. We would generate all this, and then I would go away and come up with this. But so I've got some pieces here. So the assault mission, the potential reward, before we add in any extra stuff for if you choose this one, is +2 to morale. Essentially, this is an assault mission. There is scouts have spotted some tracks and carts that indicate the movement of some of the alchemicals that power the undead. They actually, many of the undead have like vials of a particular liquid that are embedded in them to animate them. And they actually transport those like food. And they've spotted some tracks, and they believe, based on what they've seen, that there's a cache of this stuff probably at this hunting lodge. And so the intent would be for a group to go in, assault, and destroy that material, essentially destroy some of their supplies. That is the basics to that one before we get any intel questions.
So could you also let me know just where we are exactly on like the map?
Oh,
where are we near?
So wherever it says down in the if I turn this thing on the lower right-hand corner, and actually I'll move us over to the page.
Oh, like where the little trees are?
Yeah, here
does it have a name?
I'll pull us over to the page with the map.
Cool.
So there we go. So in Roll20, generally you guys are here in the Western Front area, down in the lower left-hand corner. Sorry.
Okay.
By the way, if you hear me say left or right, it is about 50-50 that I've said the wrong way. I have a very big problem with that, which was a huge liability when I played MMOs. And I would say, we're all going to break right, and then I would run left. But yeah, right down there at the Western Front area in that bottom corner.
Okay.
So what we'll be doing is we'll be doing missions here, and then we'll be choosing whether, after we've resolved the mission here, whether the group, the Legion, is going to move on from here or not.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
The other possible mission that is available is a scouting mission, essentially infiltration. They have heard word that one of the sort of old beacon watchtowers, that there is an alchemist who is holed up there, and they are essentially hiding out. The undead are kind of surrounding and in the nearby area. So the intent would be to go in, get the alchemist, and bring them back. Now, the rewards for that one are intel and the additional asset of an additional alchemist.
Okay.
Okay.
So I guess I can open this up to the team. I like
Sure.
the idea of intel. I think that'll just be because intel will give us advantages on whatever else we do, because it gives us a list of questions that will help us deal with whatever's going on. So I like that. We don't necessarily need another chemist, so that's kind of a...
Well, is there something mechanically that the alchemists do for you?
So the alchemist can be used to do particular quartermaster actions.
Okay.
You can see those under that. And having an additional alchemist means that essentially you can do those like acquiring of assets, making of things faster if you have multiples of them. It also means that if one gets corrupted and goes insane, you have a backup.
Because I see something that I see that. So just so you guys know what I'm looking at, my actions can be rest and recuperation, which would give you a tick on your wound track, which would heal it if you have a level 1 harm. I can give you liberty, which means you rest and relax for a few days and gets rid of 3 stress. I can acquire assets, which we roll on to see how good things are. There's recruit, which is we can get 5 rookies for the marshal to replenish the rosters with, and then long-term projects. I don't see anything in there about alchemists.
Oh, if you look under the material description, alchemists are listed as material.
Okay. There's something really ironic about that.
Yeah, super utilitarian.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, army stuff, troops. Yeah, so how it works is that I would choose one as like our main one and then one as the side job, right?
And so what we would do is we would play out the main one, and then when you came back, we'd actually make a roll to see how the second one went.
Okay, yeah. So let's make the scouting one our main one, so we can really let our like sneaky, cool characters shine. And then we'll make the assault one the side job.
That sounds more than reasonable. And I'm going to generate some additional. I need to find a page where this is at, because I'm going to generate an additional reward for you on the scouting one now that you've chosen that.
Yes.
As your primary
while that's happening, I'll describe my commander character just real briefly.
Yeah, I skipped over that. I apologize.
That's okay. So her name is Zeniyevna. I think this is how the names work with like the Zemyati. I wasn't sure, but anyway, her name is Zeniyevna. She's Zemyati. So like they're like the very warlike people from the mountains who are very fair of skin. She has a reputation of being fearless, and her actual traits are bold and calculating. So she likes to, if there's an opportunity, she seizes it, and she strikes. She's not necessarily cold, but there's, I guess, to get to that place, you gotta think of alchemists as materials. Her look is graceful and grizzled. She has, I have a picture on here. She has like short cropped hair. But I think the way that she fights is very graceful.
And she would be the commander. So she's the person who command of the Legion, and the annals of the Legion is passed down to them. So they are the link in the history of commanders for this particular unit, this particular group. So right now, with the spies and their benefit, you're actually going to get 3 intel and an asset if you successfully complete this mission. There's no penalties for failure. You just don't get the stuff.
Oh,
so this is
really
a mission that is not going to cause problems. The penalty for failing the assault mission is going to be a cost of supply, essentially people that are sent if that gets failed.
Wait, so the people are supply?
Well, no, essentially that is going to cost resources to send them in to do the assault, and that's a potential cost there.
Okay.
So let me look at these missions. So missions can take 2 specialists and 1 squad normally. And this is the point at which the marshal is going to make some decisions. The scout mission requires a sniper or scout. And the assault mission requires heavy, medic, or sniper.
Okay.
So that's the general correlations. You can send whoever you want. But let me tell you what happens when we do the other resolution on those missions here. Get to that page. Gosh, I wish there were a few more pages of rules here. That would be fun. We look at the marshals thing. Okay. So one of the questions is going to be when we go to do the assault mission is did the quartermaster equip the soldiers with black shot? If they did, give a +1 die. And was any soldier starting the mission wounded? And the other thing we're going to ask is if you sent required specialists on the mission. So if you don't send someone corresponding to at least one of those types, then it's -1 die on the randomized roll.
Okay, so to confirm on that, I'm putting together teams for both missions, not just for the scouting mission.
That is correct.
Okay.
So basically, you get to decide how you want to circle it up. Now, I know the medic has the ability to slide in on any of the missions, if I recall correctly, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And if our primary mission, if we don't use all of our sorry, like any spots that are not filled by specialists, the players will fill as rookies.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Which would give you a chance to advance them.
Yeah.
I've got a quick question.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a chance to remove stress or any of that stuff before?
Well, that's going to be the quartermaster's choice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're about to see how brutal this is.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I think by way of covering who's going to go on this mission, I think I'll introduce our marshal as well. And her name is Blue Rising Wave.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And yeah, she is a Panyar, and she is fucking crazy. Yeah, she's like the Poe Dameron of the group, who will just any cost to succeed at what needs to be done. So her traits, her reputation is fearless. Her traits are bold and vengeful. And her look, she has one eye. She has heterochromia in it, though. It's yellow center with a blue outer edge. And those that knew her before she lost the other eye knows that the other eye was a yellow eye with a blue center iris.
Ooh.
Yeah. And I believe that she has a history with red.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's also scarred from just kind of wading into battle. In many situations where it was probably not wise to.
I like that.
Yeah. And so she's putting together our group for this mission. She is definitely sending Red on our scouting mission and definitely sending Bear on our assault mission. Look through who else we have. She is going to want Nate on the scouting mission as well,
Okay.
since that is kind of our primary. Is sending Tyrius on the assault mission. And then we'll be sending a couple of rookies along on the scouting mission.
Essentially, a squad is like going to be, I think it's five rookies to a squad.
Okay.
So they'll essentially the ones that have animate force will be the ones that have names.
Okay.
And then when it comes up, when I go, oh, this rookie who just got murdered, what was their name? That's how that's going to work. But tell me, Marshall, they've got some example names of squads in the playbook. What are the names of the rookie squads that you send to the scouting and the assault mission?
Let me take a look. Oh, they're so great. Yeah, I think the Ember Wolves are being sent on the assault mission,
Okay.
and the Ghost Owls are going to be going on the scouting mission.
I love it.
And if I can add like a little bit more flavor to what's going on,
Sure.
Tyrius is a little suspicious of Red and concerned that he might have taken more of the corruption than he's let on, because he's been so quiet about it, and he's gone to Blue Rising Wave to raise this concern, which is why specifically Blue sends our rookie Nin Akari on that mission. Nin
Okay.
has a little bit of focus on scouting and maneuvering, and Blue wants to have Nin position himself as just being really interested in Red's work and just like inspired by him, when really she wants him to spy a little bit.
I like it. That sounds very good. So with that in mind, I want to have you make a choice, and then we're going to come to the quartermaster and see what comes. Your chosen has a special ability, and you four get to decide what that special ability is. Here are the options. She has a blessing, which means that when you gain corruption, you take one less corruption. That's pretty nice. That's probably the best one. Or there's a star as tears, which is when you mourn, you feel a profound sense of peace. When the quartermaster does a liberty campaign action, you get an additional +1 morale, and everybody marks off an additional stress. So that's really good. So that actually, I think that's probably the best one. And then there's the Blood of the Chosen. When you spend a religious supply, there's a little action that you can do. The quartermaster can choose those. You get a sanctified melee weapon on that mission, which is potent against undead. And you actually start with 1 free religious supply. So that's, wow, that's obviously the best one. And then you've got a War Saint. The quartermaster gets to select a training campaign action. When they do that, every specialist gets to mark 3 XP. So that one's maybe the best one. And I think the other ones are a little bit more long campaigns, so I'm going to leave those off the table. But those are the ones that are available. Any of those sing to anyone?
They're all the best, so you can't go wrong.
They're all really good. The one that like our flavor text for how she appeared, I feel it kind of plays into either of the first two. Like I could see like her blood being kind of an anti-corruptive liquid, which is why the skin was burning off of the Legion Lieutenant.
That's true.
Is there a way to heal corruption? I haven't seen anything about that.
I think I haven't seen anything about that. I have to check the alchemical things.
Okay.
If there are, there might be something there, but I don't think there is otherwise.
Okay. So it was -1 corruption, heal an additional stress, +3 XP, get a melee, sanctified melee weapon.
Yeah, so it's reduced. Anytime you take corruption, you take 1 less. You get when you the quartermaster choose a liberty action, the group gets +1 morale, and everybody gets to reduce an additional -1 stress. Let's see. The spend religious supply and you get a sanctified melee weapon on the next mission, and you get a free religious supply. or the Mark III XP. 3 XP on Resolve, actually. It's a specific thing, but it's still 3 XP.
What's Resolve?
Resolve is one of the 3 stat groups.
Oh, okay.
Groups.
I see.
I hear -1 corruption. I hear 3. I hear a second one on corruption.
Looks like corruption's the winner there.
Yeah, I think I'd say corruption since there's no way to really get rid of it.
Okay. In which case, you may erase one of your corruption ticks there for red.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I actually didn't mention this. I wasn't paying attention last session, but my Panyar, what is it? It's I have strange +2D to resist corruption, so I'll just keep a note of that for next time.
So keep that in mind. So I assume that when you get back and you're cleaning up, you realize that there's like no mark whatsoever.
I was overreacting, maybe.
Yeah.
So I leave the hood in place just for theatrics for a little while.
Fair enough.
In case it happens again. That way it's consistent.
So let's come to our quartermaster. You get to do one of those campaign actions, and if you want to do a second one, you can spend a supply.
So it says that campaign actions are based off morale. Ask the marshal.
Yes. So
Is it
right
forever?
now your morale is a 7, which means that you get 1 campaign action.
And at what point do we go to 2?
When you get to morale 8.
8. Okay. So I think the most important thing is to get rid of. If I understood, there were a couple of people who were wounded. Is that right?
Yes.
Vince?
I just have stress. I have 3 stress.
How about you, Agatha? What are you at?
Bear's got no wounds, just very stressed.
Okay, so maybe stress would be the best thing to do.
Yeah, I'm more stressed than I'm hurt.
Yeah. So let's do. We'll take liberty.
Okay.
Which means we get. Let's see. We rest for a few days. We get good feed and drink. We can party and relax as we see fit. We clear up to 3 stress and increase the Legion morale by 2.
Okay.
I take it that's each. Yes.
Yeah, 3 stress each.
3 stress each. Yeah. So morale goes up to 9. So next time, if it stays that way, you'll have 2 actions. Now, did you want to spend a supply to do a second action, or you could spend a supply to boost that liberty? Like you're doling out all the drinks, and then everybody clears all their stress, and we increase the morale by another 2 points.
Right. I don't think it's worth clearing all the stress because I think, my stress is down to 1 now. And I also don't think it's worth, clearing the wounds or anything like that since we have 1.
Okay. That seems like an awesome thing. So I think we're set. You still have 2 supply. We've got those choices made. And I think what we're going to do now is we're going to take a 5-minute break. And then we're going to come and do the engagement roll and see where we are on this scouting mission. Okay?
So Lowell, just so you know, I picked some material amounts and stuff. Not as completely sure what all they do, but I think I've got that. Yeah.
I'm muted. I was muted.
Hmm.
There you go. One of the things I'm going to walk through, and there's some choices that are made. Some of it fits with the quartermaster stuff, so I may ask you about that in a second.
Okay.
So for our marshal, we're about to do the mission, which means we're about to figure out the engagement role. So we assemble the engagement role by asking the following questions. First, is everyone on the scouting mission oath sworn to the Legion?
You better be.
Absolutely. So that's a die.
Okay.
Did the commander spend an intel to give you foresight and info? We didn't have any, so we don't do that. Is everyone on the mission a specialist or a soldier? No. So you don't get an extra die for that. Does any soldier distrust or not fear the leadership enough to obey orders on the battlefield?
I don't think we have that problem.
Don't think so. So that's no problem. And we have the required specialists and equipment on the mission, so you're solid on that. You don't lose a die for that.
Okay.
So then we look at the scouting mission. Everyone sets their load. If any soldier is starting with a heavy load, you subtract a die. So I assume everyone is either doing light or medium loads for their characters, right?
Mm.
Yeah, light. I'm going
Okay.
light.
And then the other question is, did the quartermaster spend horses to equip the mission? If they do, the scouting mission gets an extra die for the engagement roll.
I do have horses, so yeah, I can spend that.
Okay, makes sense to do it. You're losing money not doing it. So I think that when all is said and done, you've got 2 dice for that engagement roll.
Here. How do I have to?
/roll 2d6.
Roll. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right. So this is a 5 or a 3. So we're on
a risky position.
Risky position. So you have traveled to try and reach this beacon tower that lies somewhat to the north and west of the camp, maybe a half day's journey away, maybe a little further. But you're moving relatively light on foot, and you have gone through the rains here. Those are beginning to let up, but the ground is muddied. It's thick through here. And even as you are kind of crossing through here, in this path, people falling back from the front, you'll find bodies here. Some of them, people who just were wounded and died here, but you can see other people where it looks like clearly they were the weakest of a pack, and they've been killed and left and stripped by their fellows. And that kind of smell will hang in the air as you move through the area. There are a lot of carrion beasts out. They've been drawn by the smell here. They've run away from the front where the undead are. They tend to avoid that. And you've been following along the map. It's kind of hilly area through here. It's not particularly a zone that any of you know, and you're going off of markers, and some of these are old. And you break out of some woods come down, and you'll see you have to walk around a part of what looks like some kind of mudslide from the rains. You see the tower, the beacon tower in the distance. But as you've kind of come and are moving along cautiously, who is at the front? Okay. Okay. So that would be Nate, right?
Yeah.
So Nate, as you are walking along, as you're coming through this mud, you put your foot down, and when you do, you will hear this shriek that just goes up, and this figure kind of pushes up out of the mud, naked, like wounded, and it is shrieking like a banshee, and it is making this horrible noise. It's a person mud covered. What do you do, Nate?
I think immediately I stand between, I step back and I stand between it and the rest of the group.
Okay.
Kind of take a guarded position.
Okay. What is everybody else doing? Let me get the, what are you doing, Red?
I try to plug my ears.
Okay.
And is there any kind of obstruction that I can get around?
Yeah, I mean, you could easily kind of move over to where there's some rocks and trees and get yourself some cover. Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, I try to take some cover and get once I'm over there.
Okay. So why don't I have you make I have to look at the skill list again here now real quick. I'm glad all of these have different names for the skills. Let me have you make a scout roll. I think we're in a risky situation.
Mm-hmm.
Modest effect, unless you have something that's going to boost up the potency of what you're doing. Potency. I said that very badly.
Well, how about a devil's bargain for a little potency?
A devil's bargain here for this so early. I think the devil's bargain will be that you'll be able to get good info, but with the extra die, but something's going to see you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, then why don't you roll?
Okay. Scout, and that was risky.
Yep.
Standard. +1 die.
Yeah.
All right. 4.
So 4. So that's going to be a mixed success. So I want to come back to this in just a second. I want to answer Agatha's question here. In the chat, Agatha asked, what does it mean to boost a campaign action? It's one of Favia's heritage traits. Well, this is a great thing. You could boost that liberty. So everyone would clear all of their stress, and you would get 2 additional morale.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So that's pretty sweet. So when we come back to the other page, we'll if you want to do that, so that you've done that, then everybody can have all their stress cleared of the specialists.
Sounds good.
Okay. Then everybody is in good shape. So you have moved behind the rock, and you're looking at the tower, and you can see that it actually there are some looks like maybe piles of wood and things like that like maybe they've been burning fires at the base of the tower, like to maybe smoke somebody out. And you will see what you recognize are crows. These are undead that have these kind of those like alchemical the hoods with the beaks, and they move around, and they are utterly silent. And there is a group of them stalking around, and one of them turns and sees you, maybe drawn by the sound, but sees you. The other thing that you will see, though, is you will see beyond this group of these sort of the zombies of the line, there is a larger thing here. It's about 8-9 feet tall. It's stitched together from various parts and pieces of different corpses, doubled up in places to make it this giant size. So it's an 8 to 9 foot tall, stitched together beast that is actually the one kind of bringing over wood and putting it at the base of the thing. But you've definitely been spotted. Do you want to resist that consequence?
Yes.
Okay.
Would that be insight? Resist?
Sure. I'm good. I'm good with that.
All right.
Roll to resist.
$515.
Perfect. So you just take one stress to kind of duck back
And not be seen.
before that crow sees you. That noise is still present. So let me then talk to our other characters. Is it Aquit? Is there, right?
Fabia. I think people just call her Fabia, probably.
Okay. And who is the other rookie that's there?
Neen.
So, Fabia, what do you do? You see your officer has kind of moved to block. There's this figure that's kind of coming up from the mud, shrieking. The scout has moved off. What do you want to do?
Okay. So we are just scouting, right? Like we're trying to.
You're trying to get into the tower,
Mm-hmm.
Get the alchemist out. An alchemist has information. You want to get them safely out of here.
Huh. I think I also get somewhere where there's cover, or maybe
Okay.
I just like drop to the ground, and then what I would like to do is I have do we have black shot at this point, or
That depends if the quartermaster outfitted everyone with black shot.
oh, okay.
So I did take 3 black shots, so we have 3 total black shots.
You want to mark one off and have it with this group,
Yeah.
or you want to save it for the assault team?
Is it also under utility for load?
It's essentially you have to spend it to allow them to have black shot.
Okay.
I don't have to. I can say I have a reliquary instead. I'll just get up close and personal.
It's up to you. I can spend it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me really. So
Let's see
Probably
what you
better to
roll
save the
for.
black shot for the other mission because it'll give you a bonus on the engagement roll.
okay, yeah. So then no. So I guess I don't have black shot.
Okay.
And I have okay. I would like to create a distraction, I think, for other people to get in.
Okay.
So I'm instead of with a black shot, I do have a musket. Yeah. That's one of like rookie gear. And so I want to fire at there's the hands, there's the shrieking, and then there's the like.
So what you can see from where you're at is you just see this guy coming up out of the mud. Your scout has moved in position so that they can see the undead. You haven't seen them yet, but the tower is over a ways. So right now the immediate question is cover or dealing with this person that's in front of you or something else like that.
Oh, I guess then I would try to find cover first before that's
Okay.
actually that makes sense.
So you can easily move into position and get yourself settled in, which will allow you to aid or to set up or assist someone else if you want. which brings us to Neen.
Okay. Yeah, I think that Neen is definitely taken a little bit aback by this shrieking person, and initially tries to run back, and thinks that Red has found great cover. Maybe I'll just go hide where Red is hiding. And as he begins to approach, Red probably makes a gesture, to find your own spot. And he attempts to take cover behind like anything large, since
Sure. If you say you're just getting cover, you've had enough training that absolutely you can go in and grab cover.
Cool.
Okay. So the shrieking continues, and that is carrying in the air. So I'm going to come back to you, Nate.
Yeah, so I would like to. I'm going to command the group to attack this. This is an undead thing in front of us.
I don't think I said it was undead.
Oh, so this could be a hurting person. This isn't a unearthly howl. This could be a wounded person.
Yeah. So I'm going to stop to take time. I mean, you got the. What sudden choice here?
So I think that we were sent here to rescue another specialist who was here. This could be that specialist. So I'll call out to them.
Okay.
Is there an action to take some kind of investigative look, or see what's going on?
Yeah. So that's actually scout, or research. Either one here.
And I'm equally bad at that, so I will just do that.
Yeah. And the only reason I'm making you make a roll is because this is a chaotic moment, a chaotic situation.
Yeah. Risky.
Yeah. Risky, a great effect.
Okay. Risky, great. And I'll just roll that. And I have no ticks in it, so it should be the lower of the two. So it's a 1. Yay.
So you kind of pause and kind of stop to take a look because you're like, okay, I'm not sensing the undead. And this figure jumps up, and you will see this naked, crazy-eyed madman swinging free, and jumps like just goes to knock you down, like you've stepped on him, and he's just crazy. You can see he's not undead, but he is mad, and essentially he's going to knock you to the ground and continue to shriek. You can resist that effect, or go with being knocked down.
I'll resist that.
Okay. What do you want to resist with?
I'm going to resist with resolve because I don't want to look bad in front of the rest of the people.
Now, I'm going to give you two options here.
Okay.
You can resist getting knocked down, or you can resist him continuing to shriek.
What would resisting him continuing to shriek, like clamping a hand over his mouth or something?
You would take the fall, but you would get your hand over his mouth, or you get your leather gloves in his teeth and keep him from shrieking.
Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Then let's have you roll with that. Nice. No stress. Look at that. So tell me what that looks like.
Yeah, so basically I think that he pops up and I kind of start to fall back, but my feet lash out and he falls as well, and I kind of roll over him and muffle him with my cloak. Okay,
so you've got him kind of held down. He's doing that. That sound is coming out. And again, crazy eyes, like mud and grit on the edge of his eyes, and everything is kind of bloodshot. And he's clearly just been kind of laying in this mud. So you've got him kind of there, got him silenced. So let's come back to our scout Red. This made enough noise that there are some of these crows
taking an interest, perhaps.
They glide when they move.
They
undulate as they come this way.
How far out are they?
Oh, let's say maybe about 150 plus feet, maybe a little bit more.
It's enough time for me to kind of whisper to everyone, hey, everybody, we've got a murder of crows coming this way and some sort of an abomination stacking piles of lumber at the base of that tower. Oh, and I think they're either laying siege to it or smoking him out. Anyway, those crows are coming this way. So I get my arrow ready and I creep up behind that rock and kind of stay in a waiting position. So when they get here, it can surprise them, hopefully.
Okay. So you're kind of getting yourself, so you can kind of plan and get yourself set. Essentially, you're putting yourself in a controlled position.
Mm-hmm.
So you're getting yourself set right now. So with that information pass, let's come back to Favia.
Yeah, I think I'll do the same with I'm gonna load my musket, and because it seems like what Red is doing is he wants us to shoot them, so I'm like, oh, okay.
That makes sense. You are a rookie, getting the musket out, kind of staying in cover, gives you good positioning here for what goes on, which brings us then back to Nate.
Didn't we skip a rookie?
Oh, did I skip over? Yes, I did. I apologize. Sorry.
That's all right. Yeah, I think that what Neen wants to do is this crazed person, like they're still pretty agitated?
Oh, yeah. They're silenced, but they're still moving and kind of violent.
Yeah. I think that Neen actually goes and like tries to make really careful eye contact with him. It's like, it's okay. You're safe. We're here now. We're just we want to get you out of here, but you need to stay quiet with us. Can you do that?
So let me ask you this, Neen. Do you think this is discipline, like the hard form of this, or is this sway, like more kind of persuasion-y?
He is definitely going for a sway.
Okay. So this is going to be desperate.
Okay.
Yay.
XP.
Standard effect. Let's have you roll with sway.
Okay. Desperate. Standard. No bonus dice. Hey, there's a 6.
That is nice. So like the leather glove is still sort of, and it kind of there and held and while he doesn't become like rational, he kind of moves down from that initial wake up frenzy and he's just kind of on his hands in the mud, kind of and just kind of staring. But
yeah, that's the smile I like to see.
Has moved down from being ready to just absolutely throw everything overboard.
We're gonna get out of this. I'm mean.
So your rookies talked down this madman. What do you want to do?
Keep him quiet.
Me?
Yeah, I think you come back to our officer Nate here.
Yeah. So I think that the danger now isn't necessarily that we're being attacked by an undead. I think the danger now is that we're going to be seen by these crows. So I think I'm going to take my cloak and I'm going to drape it over the rookie and the screaming man and myself to try and provide some cover. So it looks like maybe we blend in with the ground or something like that.
Oh, interesting. I like that. So essentially when these humanoid undead come gliding over here, they won't see you immediately. What do you think we want to roll with that? You muted.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Give me just a second.
Sure. I could see maneuver. I could see rig.
Maneuver sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that sounds good. So maneuver. Risky.
Yes.
Okay. Standard.
Let me see here. Do you have anything to enhance your ability to kind of do this equipment or anything like that?
I actually have a fine ornate cloak.
Okay, well then, yes. Then, in fact, I will actually say potent if you're
Okay.
gonna use that on this, because it's gonna get all muddied here.
Is that extreme?
So it'll be then standard effect, extreme. It'll be a standard, risky, and then extreme effect. Yeah.
Okay. And in order to get a bonus dice, it's a devil's bargain, or I can spend stress. Is that right?
Right. You can mark 2 stress, or someone can assist you and mark a stress.
Do you have a devil's bargain?
Oh. Well, I think the devil bargain I'm going to offer you is that because you've talked about kind of heading to the mud part here and kind of dragging it down, is that you will get stuck in this mud for a bit.
Yeah, I think I'll take that.
Okay, so you kind of go knee deep into this mud here, as you pull the cloak over you.
Okay.
Let's see if that helps.
So that's a 5.
To 5. So there were how many of you under the cloak?
3.
3. So I think you will get 2 out of the 3 people hidden.
Okay. And I think it's that would be myself and the rookie.
Okay. So the madman is exposed.
Yeah.
Okay. So that makes sense to me. So what I think you will see then, rookies and company, is that 3 of these crow figures with the sort of the weird leather masks and things, they glide over and descend on that madman. And it looks like they are going to grab him up while he's still sort of dazed and dispense with him. So Red, what do you want to do?
We don't want to leave this poor fellow there to get taken away, right? No? Yes? Sims, you all seem ambivalent. I think I'm going to protect him.
I am the GM. I have no morality anymore in this situation. So.
Yeah, I don't think I want. I don't think this fellow. I don't want this fellow to be taken, even if he were a sort of an uncertain. As far as his alliances, he has information now. He knows. He's seen us. So if they take him, they'll.
Do you want to shoot him?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Take a shot.
So these are undead. They are threat level 1, which means they're on your level as line troops. So right now this is a controlled, because you said you were setting up and aiming, controlled standard effect.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that seem fair?
That's fine. I'm going to just take a shot then.
Okay. Let's have you roll with shoot.
Controlled. Oops. Do that again. Controlled. Standard. Did it work? I got 2 5s.
Okay. So I think Where does the arrow hit that kills one of these crows? What does that look like?
I want to hit them. Well, they've got the mask on. I don't think the masks are actual part of the body. So I'm going to hit them in the temple around the head area.
So on one of them, the arrow just goes shoop, and he sprouts, those feathers off. But I think the sort of consequence you're facing here is that when that one gets hit, takes the arrow to head, the other two see where the shot came from and are swooping towards you. Okay. Are you willing to take that, or do you want to resist that?
I think the rest of the group is probably going to help out here, so I'm gonna take that. I'll let them come towards me.
All right. So these other two, the kind of helpless madman was a target, but then something attacking, and again, no sound, just across. So Favia, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm definitely shooting one of them. I've that's what I've been waiting for.
Perfect. It's controlled and standard effect.
Okay. Controlled. Standard. And I take on 2 stress if I want to add like a bonus dice, right?
Yep, 2 stress will give you an extra die.
Or I'll take also a devil's bargain if you have one.
I think the devil's bargain I'm going to offer you is that rather than just most of the undead hearing the sound of the blunderbuss going off, all of the undead will hear the sound of the blunderbuss going off.
That sounds really terrible.
But I mean, you wanted a distraction, right?
That's true. Yeah, I think I'll take it.
Oh, absolutely. You're losing money not doing it.
So sketchy.
I know.
Let's see.
So this will be shoot.
Did I press the wrong? Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure. Sorry.
That's okay.
It's a good thing you hit the wrong one that time.
Yep. Controlled. Standard. With 1 bonus.
So a 6. So absolutely. You will pop up, get that blunderbuss, and you hit one of these crows like in the midsection. And what do you suppose happens? Does it go right through them? Does it, blow a hole in them? Do they explode in feathers? What do you think that looks like?
I feel like they like explode in like pus and stuff.
Okay, so just this spray of pus and the black cloak and so on, and then there's this sort of sound of like bird bones hitting the ground, even though they're people sized.
Yeah.
And that carries like everywhere, and the rest of this murder of crows, you'll hear this like just for a second, like a little tiny keening, like maybe like a high-pitched bird sound that kind of carries, and then you'll hear this roar of something else much bigger. Neen.
Yeah, I'm here.
Whoa. Situation shifted.
Yeah. That roar doesn't sound good. But I think this might be my opportunity to be a hero. And I think that I want to try to get into some kind of positioning. I'm not likely to appear as an immediate threat.
Mm-hmm.
So if I can get a a good spot where when this big guy comes around the corner, I might be able to get him from behind. I think everybody will be really impressed if I can pull that off.
Okay, I think that's going to be maneuver.
I think so too.
I think we're dealing with, you've got a bigger group of these crows, the rest of the murder, and we've got this giant that is out there. It's called a horror, and so I think we're talking desperate, but standard effect. If you can pull this off.
Okay. Sprint, standard. Devil's Bargain.
I will say that in your speed, you're going to lose a piece of equipment.
Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Okay. That was pretty gentle. Look at that. What a generous GM. Oh, and look at that. That's a 5 on a desperate roll, right?
Yeah, that means something bad's happening.
So you want to get yourself up in position. So we're not going to negate your maneuvering up. I think that you'll maneuver up and you're going to be kind of rushed up to kind of get in position. But this thing is like much closer than you thought. Like you run up and kind of get on this rock and it's right there. Like it is right there. You're going to have to attack it on the next round or it is going to see you. Like, and its attention, I mean, and you're going to be the only one that it can see.
Awesome.
That what you want?
Yeah, I will take it.
Absolutely. So Nate, you are under this thing, concealed, up to your knees in mud. What do you want to do?
I take this round to pull myself out of the muck.
Okay.
And I tell the rest of them, get ready. A big one's coming. This is what we've trained for.
All right. So it takes you a bit. I mean, and when you pull your boots out, like that mud is in those boots.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you've ever had that where you step into a river or whatever, and then it's just sodden with mud and cold and sticky. And there's that bit where you think you're not going to get the boot. You have to grab it and pull it up out of there. And that, feel that twinge as your leg kind of pulls to do it, but you will out of there. Red, there's still another crow. It's coming for you.
Is there anyone else around? Am I by myself there?
Well, yeah, because you guys were kind of spread out taking those shots. One of them blew up from the blunderbuss, and you know that's probably calling the rest of the pack this way. But there's just one that's coming right on you.
Yeah,
it's going to be on you right now.
Okay, in that case, I'm going to switch to my pistol.
Okay,
and take a shot at this thing as it closes in.
That sounds great.
Pistol plus black shot.
Okay. Well, you don't have black shot because he didn't equip the group with black shot, so you can't take black shot.
Oh, okay. Well, because I'm just talking about like personal equipment. I can choose 2 things.
Yeah, but you can't equip the black shot unless he gives it to you.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But can I do ammo?
Yeah, you can just do standard. I mean, you can just do standard shot. What the black shot does is it makes your effects potent, which is good against big things. These things are on your level.
Ammo. Is the pistol plus the ammo any better than the bow and the black arrows?
No.
Then in that case, I'm not going to waste it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just take a shot with the arrow again at this.
Okay. Kind of try and let loose as it closes in.
Yeah. Does this thing have any clothing or anything, or is it just feathers?
Yeah, like there's like a tattered cloak on it because that's sinister.
I try to take the shot so that it pins does it have like bird claws for feet or something like that?
Yeah, its hands are sort of kind of twisted, like arthritic.
Yeah. Can I try to pin it in place? So I take a shot at its foot so it's stuck in the ground?
That's an interesting idea. Yeah. So your intent is rather than killing it, kind of
Disable it? Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can do something with it later.
So let's say desperate and standard effect then.
Cool. So 1 XP for desperate, right?
Yeah, look at that. That's great.
And when I do desperate things, I get +1D.
Hey, I know.
All right. So that was. Did you say skirmish? I'm sorry, I missed the.
Well, you can do shoot. It's just coming in, but you're not going to be able to shoot after this.
Okay. So it's desperate standard.
Standard.
All right. +1D. What did I get? Oh, not good. I got a 3. Is my best die there.
So you go to fire at it, and this thing is on you, and it will rake claws across your throat and face. I mean, it's like great big black talons from this thing. And it's a desperate thing. So you are going to take a level 2 wound as essentially it tears open the side of your face there.
I'm going to put down torn face under harm.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah. Now you can resist that and reduce it down to a level 1 harm, or if you have armor, you can mark armor to reduce that.
I don't think I even have armor as an option.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't
You are
see.
scout.
Yeah, no, there is an option, but I'm going to try to resist it. I'll just with the what is it?
What do you think that is? Prowess? Prowess sounds good.
Yeah, let's try that.
So that's going to cost you 3 stress.
Oof. Okay.
Where does it put you at?
Did I have 1 stress already?
I don't know. I'm not tracking it.
My stress was cleared, so I'm at 3 right now.
Yeah. Okay. So you're in good shape, but it's level 1 stress. So it's more that you've got these deep gouges rather than it tearing your cheeks off or anything.
Right. Level 1 harm? Is that what?
It'll be level 1 harm.
Okay.
And kind of pushing back. So that was red. Let's come back to Favia. You hear that roar from up and behind, and you see this crow that is up. It is on red right now, tearing his face.
Oh boy. I guess I gotta shoot it.
Okay. Drop under the shot in and let loose again.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty desperate because they are right adjacent to one another.
Yeah. Yep. So don't worry, Red, I got it.
Desperate standard.
Okay.
I believe in you.
Ooh, that's good. And is there a devil's bargain for this as well?
Well, yeah, I will say that if you want to give you an extra die, then we will say that, I mean, it is a blunderbuss, so it is like firing a shotgun, that that red will take just a very minor level 1 harm.
Okay, so desperate, and the effect is, what is it again?
Standard.
Standard. Oh, okay.
Kind of caught in between the devil and the deep blue sea on this one.
Yeah, I'll go for it.
Okay.
Caught between
and
the
I think
feet. Never mind.
And I'll also take stress, so I can.
You can do one or the other.
Oh, I can do one or the other. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I'll take this then.
Okay. Look at that. You got a 6. So, boom. What does that look like? What happens? What do we see?
I just like reload super fast on this musket, which is like, whoa. Yeah, I see it tearing and I just like shoot right away. And I think I get it in its. Do we want more exploding pus falling on red? Sure, why not? So I think I get it in the head, and it just like explodes again in like feather and pus.
Yeah, and certainly is used to that, so it doesn't affect there. So and it pulls the cloak down so it doesn't get in his eyes or mouth or any of that this time.
Thank you.
We'll drop it out. Oh, and Vince did correct me there that you can. I think you can take the devil's bargain and the stress to do the dice. I think what I'm thinking of is not more than one person can't assist on an action, I believe is the thing.
Yeah, if I recall right from the blades sheets, at least it's your character can only do one thing that's going to give a die, but you can add stress or take a devil's bargain to also improve effect. So you can get a die and get an added effect.
That's right.
But you can't.
Thank you.
Dice.
I always forget about that positioning thing because dice are so sexy. People want to get those dice. So
yeah.
So Neen.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. Blunderbuss is going on, and there's fighting going on over there. You don't see your commander, and you are right here. This thing, it now is right by you. Realize it's about 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
Stitched together. It is nasty. You can see bits where they've like sewn together multiple arms to get the upper arm muscle on it. And it's just it's kind of turning. There's a gouge where the mouth ought to be. They've stacked like multiple eyes into the eye sockets. So there's like 6 or 7 in each of these massive sockets on this thing, all kind of squelched together. By the way, feel free to X card me at any point. So Vince.
Yeah. So
what does Neen do?
So what Neen does, I want to first just confirm something on my character sheet as I read it.
Sure.
So I'm pious, so I always equip a reliquary. It sounds like I don't get that for free. I actually have to spend the 2 load to get it still, correct?
Is that a special ability, or where does that come from?
It's a trait for being a Barton.
Then if you took that as the trait for being a Barton, then yes, it is something that you have to spend for.
Okay. So that means I only had 1 additional load. And when I took that Devil's Bargain the last time, I accepted losing a load.
Yeah.
So I think that Neen reaches for his hand axe and notices it's not there. And thinking quickly, though he was never a good marksman, he takes his blunderbuss off his back, aims, says a quick prayer, and fires.
All right. So let's have you roll shoot.
Yep.
You are in a desperate situation.
Absolutely. I'm definitely taking a couple stress.
And this thing is a significantly higher threat level than you are.
Yeah.
So it is low effect.
Yeah. So I'd like to take the stress and take a Devil's Bargain to up that effect to standard.
Okay. The Devil's Bargain is that you're going to blow the end of the blunderbuss off because it's so close.
Yeah,
if you
it's
fire
worth it at this moment. It's it's about my only chance.
So you want to move that up to standard effect then?
Yep, and that gives me 1 die. Is there anybody who can assist me?
I don't think anybody's close by.
Okay.
What if I for my piece of equipment, I choose a flare gun and I fired at those eyes?
I would normally say it'd be okay, but I think you were so caught. You're the positioning where Neen has moved away from the group to do this. I don't think this. If you were nearby, I would absolutely let you do that. But I think we've kind of spread out the fiction a little bit here.
Gotcha.
So I have I need to drop into mechanics for a second. So number one, I could potentially spend channel as the officer as preparation.
Mm-hmm.
However, one of the moves that I do not have is channels can be spent to assist the squad mate. And I think in the last session, I spent it, so I'm a little confused about what channels can do. It says you can spend it to acquire an asset for your squad in a flashback.
Yeah, so it would essentially be that'd be something that the assist action is the thing to give a die.
Yes.
Whereas the acquire an asset is to acquire a thing that can do something. So that allows you to use your channels to spend it to instead of spending stress to give a person other dies, what that special ability is.
Fantastic. So that means I can't assist him using channels.
Correct.
Okay.
Not unless you have the ability, yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Let's see it. Here's where we want the crit.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be impossible because I'm getting 1 die out of all of this extra stuff I'm pumping into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So desperate, standard effect, 1 bonus die.
Did you spend stress though?
I did.
Well?
Yeah.
So you had a 0 in it, right?
Yeah, I had a 0. I got it up to 1.
Well, you took the devil's bargain, right?
Yeah, to get the effect up to
That's
standard.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I got a 5. I'm getting my effect, but I have some consequences.
So I think that when you go to like turn it, it like hits against this thing and you pull the trigger and it does like send this thing rocking back. But that blunderbuss blows up in your hands. And I think that's going to be level 2 harm, essentially as that burns your fingers.
Yeah. Prowess to resist?
Yeah, you can take it down to level 1.
Yeah. I'll give it a shot. This might
Let's
take
see.
him out. Need for everything. Okay, no bonus dice. Okay, so 2 stress.
2, so that's not too bad.
Yeah.
So what does that look like? What do we see?
Yeah, I think that it's basically him having like the presence of mind. Like as soon as this all starts to happen, and he pulls the trigger, he kind of holds the gun loosely.
Okay.
So the shot goes off, but it kind of just blasts out of his hand before it's able to take its full effect on him.
Perfect. So let me describe where everybody's at so we kind of have a sense of where we're going on. You kind of are still kind of got some blockage between you guys and the tower. We know that the tower is there, the alchemist in it. We know that there's still some other crows that are around there. The rest of this murder, they've heard it, and probably some of them are coming over this way. You've kind of run up like the hillside a little bit, gotten by where Neen has gotten by where this horror is, and is blasted. And while it's not dead, it is definitely staggered back, and it's kind of stunned right now from that impact. Meanwhile, sort of down below where the 3 crows came, we have Red and Favia sort of shooting at each other, catching the crows in the crossfire, and we have Nate coming up out of the mud. The madman is kind of scurrying off in the distance, having heard all of these roars and loud sounds. So let me swing it back to Nate. It does seem like you're going to have whatever the other undead are going to be coming this way.
So what I'd like to do is I'd like to actually command everyone to attack the monstrosity. And this would be, a practice drill that we've done in the past.
Okay.
This is something that we have gone through. I'd like to do a group action.
Okay, so you want to get everybody to attack?
I would.
Okay. That seems fair to me. Do you have so this is still going to be a desperate low potency action unless you have something to up the potency.
So what I have for group actions is +1 scale.
Okay, so they'll move it up to standard.
Okay. In addition, since this is a combat action, Are dice from different rolls count as criticals?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I get plus 1d in group actions. So I don't
Okay.
have any skirmish. So that makes me flat with skirmish, just 1d, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So if anyone else is helping skirmish attack this big thing with the commander shouting that out, you can also roll skirmish or shoot to assist in the taking down of this thing.
I'll join in with shoot.
Okay.
So you said this was desperate but standard action.
It will now be standard because you've got the group action potency.
Yeah.
And the rookies are rushing up on it.
Yeah. Do I have I don't have any load for something that can actually really effectively skirmish with. Can I grab a rock or something?
I assume the butt of the blunderbuss, the smoking
works.
butt of that, you can swing with.
Yeah. And one thing on group actions, if they're desperate, does everyone participating get XP?
Yes, they do, but they also potentially suffer consequences.
Yeah. I will join in though.
Okay. Is it also possible to do a devil's bargain in group actions?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I don't think we can at that point, or at least I haven't done it that way because then we start to get a little too granular, complicated.
Okay.
So everybody's going to roll with whatever their combat thing is, and you'll roll it as desperate, woohoo, with standard effect. So let's see what everybody rolls. Okay. So I think the highest is a 5, right?
That's right.
Okay. And you are going to take 2 stress.
Okay.
From the group action. So I think what's going to happen you're kind of charging up the rookies, right? And they charge up, and we've got Neen and Favia who are also firing and smashing with this thing, and I think you're gonna hurt this thing quite badly, but I think that one of its hands is gonna just reach out and it grabs one of the other rookies, and it just squeezes the head until it gives. You may resist that, Commander.
Yeah, I'll resist that. Absolutely. By the way, just so you know, I have a one of my moves that I could take is add if someone dies following your orders to the end of the session XP.
Oh God, yeah. That's horrible.
Yeah. Isn't that awful?
Wow.
Okay, so and I think I'm going to resist that by telling him to get out of the way, kind of giving him a warning.
Sure. Let's have you.
Partial?
Yeah. Let's. Do you want to do that resolve or insight? Yeah. Or
I think it'd be resolve.
Okay. Let's have you roll resolve. See how much stress you take trying to avoid this consequence in addition to the 2 you've already taken. So you're only going to take 1 stress, okay. But you kind of shout, and the rookie drops to the ground as this massive hand comes down to just absolutely crush his skull, and misses. And this thing staggers back. It's quite badly wounded. You will see the other 10 crows coming this way. So Red, you've kind of fired off. Whoo, you guys have kind of dropped this big thing. It's clearly going to have to like push itself back together and maybe get some zombie treatment, but there's still a big group of these crows here, and you've really drawn a lot of attention and noise.
Yeah.
I think we should really split up, and one of us should start heading towards the tower while the rest are pulling most of the fire. And I think that should be you, Red.
Yeah, or I could try to just lead us, using my scouting to try to circle us around. They're all those crows are going to come to this position because they've heard all that noise. If we can all stealthily go around, but I'm okay with either one. Maneuver, okay.
Yeah.
Is everyone cool with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, where's that maneuver? There it is.
By the way, I also rolled everybody's the desperate consequences all into that one crushing of a rookie. I figured that was fair rather than hitting everybody with separate consequences on that group roll.
I could do a group maneuver. I've got 3 stress already. I still have 3 left. As long as one of you doesn't fail.
You only take a trauma when you mark past that last stress box.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to do a group. I would lead a group action then. So I'm trying to get everyone around using my, scouting skills to get us through.
All right. So here's the thing. We're in a bad position here. You guys have gotten out in the open. You've drawn a lot of attention. These crows have been coming for a while. So I think we're desperate low effect right now to try and get away, especially if you're working in a big group of people trying to do that. Does that seem fair?
Yeah. Desperate is good. XP, and I get a +1 die every time. So get that extra die. Keep it desperate.
All right. So anyone else who wants to assist can roll maneuver to try and fade into the woods, using this as a chance to draw the crows off.
Desperate standard.
Desperate standard.
I'll do that as well.
Okay. So that's a 5.
Wait, I thought you said that it was low effect. So.
Yep.
So why is this standard?
Oh, sorry. It's desperate low. I apologize. The effect, it doesn't matter on the effect because we read that ourselves. The system doesn't.
Okay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, my highest die is a 4.
Your highest die is a 4. So the
5.
highest we've got so far is a 5.
Still a 5.
Yeah.
What's the damage here for me?
I don't.
Do we still have Steven to roll?
I thought I rolled.
Yeah.
No, you rolled a prowess roll.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. This was maneuver, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Desperate.
Low.
Sorry about that.
Come on, get that 6. Get that 6.
No.
So you're going to take a stress, Red. And here's what I think happens. I think that there's a desperate rush of your group running through the woods, drawing away, and then kind of curving back to get to the tower. And you will get up to the tower, and you're like, yes, we've gotten to the tower. But 2 things are occurring at that point. One is that this door is barred. Like you get up to that door and it is secured. And the other is that as you guys have broken out and gotten up to the tower, like a flock of birds, you've seen the crows starting to sweep back. You've gotten past them, but they are coming back this way en masse.
Oh, we better move quick.
Now you can resist one of those consequences if you want, Red.
Yeah, I'm going to resist the crows coming this way.
Okay. So I think that's still going to be prowess for you here.
All right. No bonus dice. Oh, 6. Okay.
Oh, so close to traumaing you out. I got Maria to trauma out in her first set of rolls in Blades in the Dark. Red's led you over. You've come through the woods. The crows have not seen you. You've got some breathing room here. You know they are going to come back this way, but you've got some breathing room. And this door is locked, barred. You're guessing whoever is in the thing is probably up top to try and keep away from the smoke and stuff down here.
Do we actually know this person's name or anything like that?
I don't think so. I think you know that there's an alchemist here.
Okay, so I think I kind of rap at the door like you would at a normal house. Surely the undead wouldn't do such a thing. And I tell him, we're from the XYZ company. We've been sent to retrieve you. And I give him my name.
So you're going to shout? Because as I said, he's probably up at the top of the tower at this point.
Yeah, I think I need to shout.
Okay.
But shouting will draw attention. Is that right?
That is correct. But, if you do well, he might get down the stairs before anything bad can happen. And I'll even let you roll discipline if you want.
What is discipline?
That's your the command obedience. It's a great ability for you, right? Or martial?
So yeah, I think it's probably worth shouting to get him down here. Because once we get him down here, we just need to run. So I'll do that.
Okay.
And I think martial might be better.
Then let's have you roll. I think we're because I like handing out the XP. We're in a desperate standard effect.
Okay.
Quick question, Lowell.
Yeah.
I maxed out my E session. Leave that alone.
I'm sorry, I couldn't. You roboted there for a sec.
My playbook advancement, my XP, I maxed out the bar.
Well, then you get to erase all those XP things and take a new ability.
Okay, cool. I could do that right now.
You can do that right now.
All right.
As far as Devil's Bargain.
So the Devil's Bargain I'm going to offer you is that essentially the wind shifts and the bundle of wood on the other side, the fire will actually catch and spring up on that.
Okay. I think I'll do that.
Okay. I'll give you that die.
Okay. Oh. My highest is a 3. That is not good.
So when you go to shout,
yes.
Let me think how to best do this. When you go to shout, those crows stop, and they clearly hear, and they come running this way, like they are gliding silently across the field, and you're pretty sure whoever's inside didn't hear you.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do?
Can I resist that? It's okay to say no.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how this is a complication. Yeah, you can resist that. Which part do you want to resist?
I think I'll try to resist whether or not the crows hear me or not.
Okay.
So I'll do that with resolve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what, you guys? Killing me. So shouting is clearly not an option. So what's another approach you guys want to take?
Could somebody climb?
I would like to scale the walls.
Okay. What do you think that is? Do you think that's a maneuver, or do you think that's something else?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
I have a soldier's kit. I'm sure that's like a dungeoneering kit where
Oh, yeah.
there's a rope.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you have equipment that you can use to do that. So we'll say that'll add potency to your action.
Oh, sick.
So it'll allow you to get up rather than just a little ways. You could get up pretty high. So in that case, let's say risky standard.
Risky standard. Cool. And is there a devil's bargain?
Or one of us could assist. I think
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I think that like if you're using rope, I could belay for you.
I like that.
Yeah.
So spend a stress and give her a die.
Okay.
Cool.
Look at that. So when you scale up, do you think you get to a window, or do you actually get up to the top of the tower? Where do you think you get to?
I think I should get to like an opening. Maybe like a window? Yeah, like those really narrow slats.
Yeah, kind of get to that, probably just wide enough for you to slide inside. From up here, you can see the crows, doing that bird flock thing, looking around. And you can drop inside. There are steps around the interior that clearly go up to a top chamber.
Okay.
And you can maneuver up and get up to this top sort of wooden platform. Now, do you want to go up top, or do you want to go down and open the door?
Oh. I want to shout maybe a little bit quieter to just be like, Alchemist, do you hear me?
And I think given the earlier noise and so on, and now this is like human words, you will see this frizzy-headed woman. Think of Miss Frisbee from the Magic School Bus kind of thing, that kind of outfit, kind of pokes her head over the thing, and she's like, "That's a window, not a door."
Yes, the door was locked. We are here to take you away so you can be free of these undead.
Have you dispatched them all?
No, but because we don't have time, so we are going to leave now.
Oh, well, I have to get my notes and my equipment set. Hold on. And she goes up into the room, and you hear her start to do the sound of a crazy person putting their backpack together.
Okay.
I'm going to cut down below to the other three. You're standing there. You've seen Fabio go in the window. You've maybe heard some conversation, but the door hasn't opened, and those crows are still sweeping around. Anything you guys want to do that I should know about, or are you just kind of holding position and staying concealed?
I'm going to just stay concealed unless these other two do something that needs help.
Yeah, I think staying concealed is the best idea right now.
Do you think they're coming back? They've been gone a while.
They will come back. We've seen this before.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
This is it's my first mission.
Yeah, be ready for them. They'll be back. He's right.
And you all smartly hold position with some military discipline. Even though the GM tried to lure you into doing something, you held position there. So this woman comes down, and she's got this like huge suede leather backpack, and she's stuffing things, unguents and things into her belts and stuff. And she's coming down and kind of balancing herself, and she's okay. Ooh, let's go.
Can I?
And
Can I like help her with something?
Oh, it's so nice. She will go to take this backpack off and hand it to you.
I take it with much regret.
Okay. Oh, this is heavy load. Books, books and alchemical tools and so on, and 3 intel worth of notes. But you're going down the stairs. And kind of pull open the door that's bolted. She'll come over and unlock that, and she'll come out into the daylight. And she sees the group of you, and she's like, "Well, hello."
Quiet. We must run. Are you ready?
Not much of a runner.
You are now.
You're gonna have to keep it cool. Shh.
Okay. She sees the bloodied face, and I think that may be the thing that actually gets her to kind of maybe focus here. So let me ask you this. Red, what's the stratagem that you use to kind of help the group get away from here?
I carry anything that like extra stuff that she has to distribute the load, so we're all moving at the same speed. Nobody gets left behind. And I suggest we take a completely different route than we took to get here.
Okay, kind of breaking off that way. And Neen, how are you in this sort of evacuation? What is Neen doing? Panicking or holding together, or what do we see of Neen in this?
I think that he's holding together remarkably well for everything that he's been through. I think that seeing like the whole band together has given him a lot of confidence, and he is just following very closely in Red's footsteps. But he's confident he'll be able to give a positive report back.
Perfect. And you'll look off the distance. You see that horror is kind of sewing itself back together, kind of getting back up. Then tell me something about the travel back, some stratagem that you are putting into play there, Nate.
Yes. So I'm actually going to spend a channel for an asset, and this is we brought a small animal with us.
Okay.
And I set the animal loose inside this tower.
Okay.
And then close the door so that they think the alchemist's still inside.
All right.
We also have horses, so I think we've planned to exit via a different route, and we can get on the horses to move faster.
That seems perfect. And the 4 of you, the other squaddies, can go and hit the horses and ride back to camp. And you have successfully completed this mission. So we know that you are going to get, when we come back, 3 intel and an alchemist. Now, we need to resolve the role for the other mission.
Okay. I have my martial sheet.
Okay. So we now look at the martial sheet and we do the engagement for the secondary mission. Everyone on the mission is oath sworn to the Legion, so that's a die.
Yep. Then we get any of the other before every missions.
Nope, I don't think so. Yeah. Did the quartermaster equip the soldiers with black shot? If so, you get a die.
Yes, I'll mark that off.
Okay, so 2 dice, it looks like to me. So let's have you.
But is any soldier starting the mission wounded? And Tyrius does have a minor wound.
Okay, then subtract a die.
Yeah, so it's just 1 die. Ooh, ouch. That's not how we like to do engagement rolls.
All right. So that mission fails. 3 of the rookies die. And both Bear and Tyrius are going to take level 3 harm.
Ugh. I want to call that.
So we will resolve all the morale drop downs and things like that. Next time we'll go through the command phase on that. That was not pretty.
No. I may spend doctor use immediately after. Oh wait, that's level 4 goes down to level 3. Never mind.
Okay. But we'll
No, I think your thing actually does like it's because there are like two different, and I think one part it does say that you can like spend it to heal. But
Oh yeah, let's take a look
in the PDF.
Okay, I might have checked it on the PDF. Thank you.
And how do I mark harm on this sheet? Like, what do I write?
Oh, let me look at the sheet real quick here. So what you'll do is you'll just where it has that like top line 3 for harm.
Mm-hmm.
You'll just write in essentially mission harm there.
Okay.
It says doctor is an action that medic soldiers specialize and train in. Unlike most actions, it's not usually rolled, but its uses per mission. While on a mission, you may use doctor uses to treat a fellow soldier so they ignore wound penalties for a scene. So it's just they can fight through the pain.
Yeah. So I don't think that will assist in that.
Okay.
Let's we're going to do all the command thing again like we did today. We'll do that next time and worry about that. You guys are going to then effectively next time you're going to lose 3 morale from the dead troopers. You're also going to lose a supply because that assault mission failed. But you'll gain 3 intel, and you'll also gain this alchemist as an asset, which will allow you a couple of actions on the next campaign round for acquiring assets and things. But let's go through and let me find the XP notes here. Where is the end of session XP bits?
I think we each have it on our playbooks as well.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could just.
Oh
read
yeah,
it out.
right. It's a heavy advancement. Okay. And Bear and Tyrius will get to mark XP even though they weren't played because they did go on a mission.
Okay.
So let's start with Nate on the officer advancement. You get an XP for surviving the mission.
Yes. You helped your squad through enforcing discipline or strategic planning.
Sounds good.
You brought into play your heritage or trauma. I don't have a trauma, but my loyal group action is a heritage.
Okay. Yeah, so that seems fair. Give you a point for that.
And per highest group of opponent faced.
That horror is a level 2 threat, so 2 points.
Okay.
And then our scout. Let's look at you.
Yeah. Survive the mission. That's 1.
Help through stealth or foresight, definitely.
Another 1.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you think you brought your heritage or traumas into play?
I think I kind of brought in the heritage a little bit in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that was a nice bit. I think we got some stuff about you there that we saw, so I'm willing to say that. So yeah, I'm going to say an XP for that.
Okay. And highest threat, you said 2?
2.
Okay.
Let's look at our rookies. You survived the mission. You both survived despite the odds. So each of you get an XP. did we learn a little bit about your character? Do you think? What about you, Favia? What do we learn about Favia?
That she's pretty good with a gun. I don't know.
That she's pretty reckless, firing the blunderbuss off when there's a large crowd that could be drawn by it.
Yeah,
I'll give you an XP for that.
Thanks.
And then 2 XP for the horror that you faced. What about Neen?
Yeah, I feel like we learned a lot about Neen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. He's got a sweet side, but he wants to prove himself to the Legion.
Yeah. I'll give you a point for that, and of course 2 points for opponent faced.
Okay. So I capped out prowess. I'm going to clear it to take a point and shoot because I feel like he's learned his lesson that sometimes your hand axe isn't where you thought it was.
All right. So we've run a little over my usual time here. So next time we'll start again with the campaign actions. I think it'll be a little bit easier next time because we've done it once. We'll look at those choices. We'll do that. It's still, I think maybe we'll get a little more dimension. We'll decide whether the group wants to move on or continue to do missions in this area. We'll talk about what the costs and consequences are of that. Any questions or anything before we wrap?
I do have a question. So
yeah,
for Bear, does she get 1 experience then for going on the other mission?
Yeah, she'll get 1 experience for going on the other mission. Actually, you know what though? I think I want to give you and Tyriel another XP because we did get some scenes about how your characters did stuff during the session. So we did get some heritage insight. So I think each of you can take another XP.
Cool. Awesome.
Any other questions? I'll check in at the beginning of the next session and we'll see what people are digging or not digging, what you want to lean into or lean away from, and we'll kind of do that check-in there, if that seems cool with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
Okay. There's some really interesting tech here, but there's a lot of it.
Yeah.
So we'll get it all figured out. I am going to stop the broadcast.
All right.